Hey everyone, welcome back to the vlog for 2019. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dawson Redekop. I've been with Hands at Work. This is my third year. I am project support for the La Mancha Service Center. And yeah, for those of you who have watched my videos before, you'll know that normally it was just me in the videos, but this year I thought that I would change it up a little bit. So why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, hey guys, so my name is James McLaughlin, and I'm also a volunteer with Hands at Work, but I'm from Australia. This will be my second year in Zambia, and so yeah, Dawson and I, we've decided to use this vlog as a way to sort of give you guys a bit of an update on what's been going on with us, sort of the day-to-day stuff in Zambia, but also we're going to try and answer a question through this. So I guess the question for today is what have you been up to for the past few weeks? So Dawson, what have you been up to for the past few weeks?
Yeah, so since being back in Africa and going through the Watchword in both South Africa and here, I think for those of you who know me, I take a long time to process through things, but I think I'm expecting this year to be a year where God challenges me in how I'm sowing my own seeds, how with what God has given me, how I'm using that to serve Him, not just relying on what it is that I'm doing through Hands at Work, but also with what God has blessed me with, how I'm using that for His glory. And so I think I'm interested to see and excited to see where this year will go. But these first few weeks, it's been great being back for the start of the year, whereas last year I was in Canada during the start of the year, spending time with my family for a couple of months, family and friends. But yeah, it's been great this year to be around for as the year picks up and everything starts to get off the ground. And just get going along with everyone else. So I'm looking forward to what this year has in store. What about you?
Yeah, I think kind of similar. So this is my first time coming back to be here for longer term, and so I think I found it very difficult being back. It's tough being away from family and friends, especially when you know it's going to be for a while. So I guess that's something that I've struggled with coming back this time. I'm really feeling that separation, especially from my family, so that's been pretty tough. But then I guess the way I've been explaining it to people, I sort of left one family and I've come back to another family. So the people in Zambia especially have really become like my family. Spending time with the service centers and out in community, it's been incredibly special. And I think similar to Dawson, the watchword this year, which is in Luke 9, for those that wanted to check it out, we'll provide the specific verse because I think it's pretty appropriate for both of us. It's been it's going to be a really challenging one for this year, I feel. For me personally, I think similar to Dawson, sowing my own seeds, so that means living a lot more sacrificially than I have been. But I think one of the other big things that I got out of the watchword was my need to be humbled. I realized, I'm starting to realize how prideful I am and how much pride affects so many areas of my life. And so it's going to be, I think, a year where God is going to have to really humble me and bring me a little bit lower. So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm really dreading that at the same time. So yeah, and for those of you who don't know what the watchword is for this year, it's Luke 9 verse 48. So the specific part that challenged me about this passage was actually right before and in the chapter leading up to this specific verse, but just how when the disciples, after being out with Jesus all day and they came back and the crowd of 5,000 followed them,
and all the disciples said, send them away. And I was just reflecting on how much that is my attitude so much of the time. How, once it's 5 o'clock or whatever, that's, like I'm checked out. Giving of myself after that it's a lot more difficult when it's outside of kind of the typical work hours, I guess. And so just feeling very challenged by that, how much I relate to the disciples. But then Jesus' response said, no, now you go and feed them. And just being very deeply challenged by that, and how to not be so selfish or clinging so strongly onto my time or my resources or whatever it may be, things that I may want to do, but instead spend myself and humble myself and sacrifice myself on behalf of others.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be an interesting year for the both of us. I think there's a lot of growth that's needed, but we're in one of the best places for that to happen. Not specifically talking about being in Africa, but being with Hands at Work. So I think we're both expectant for what this year is going to hold for us.
Yeah, and I think we were just reminded this week as well, just how much of a gift it is to be part of this kind of family. How, to live together and do life together like this, how much of a blessing that is. And reflecting on that, I realized that that's one of the things when I go back home, as much as I love being with my family and my friends, one of the things I miss is the rhythms and just part of the community life that happens here. And yeah, so I think this year as well, being more intentional in that, and the sacrifices that will come with that, and how I live with others and serve those around me. I think it will definitely be an interesting year.
Yeah, so I think that probably wraps up sort of our last few weeks.
Yeah.
Things have sort of kicked off pretty quickly, I guess. We've dived straight into it, so that's been really nice. Our aim is to sort of do one of these once a month. And like we said, we want to sort of try and answer a question. And so we'll try and come up with a question, but for anyone that's watching this, or if you have a burning question that you'd like us to answer, then please feel free to ask it, and we'll do our best to answer it. So I think that's pretty well it from me.
Yeah, I think so. You'll have to forgive us if we look gross or sweaty or anything. We just went out today to town, and then we ended up having a flat tire, so we ended up having to change the flat tire. We debated even doing this video or not. We weren't sure if the first video back should be one where we're all sweaty and gross, but I hope we'll do our best to stick to this schedule of once a month videos. Like James said, feel free to send us a question. If you know me, you can send me a question, or if you know James, send him a question. But like we said, we'll do our best to answer it.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. See you next month. It's Luke 9, verse 48. And it says, we'll cut this out. What's that? So I'll have to come back in because I was the one talking, but